Happy Saturday, happy holidays. So today, this presentation is very much just came out of a little personal investigation I made, just anecdotal. I hope you find it interesting, maybe entertaining, and whatever you get from it, well, we can talk about it. I just like to learn what I can. I've been learning for a while now with since starting to do index fund investing. This focuses on particularly people trying to pick stocks and anticipate what's going to happen. But let me disclaim that I'm not I have no experience picking stocks. I just did this simulation, which is where this presentation comes from. So first thing I'm going to do is share my keynote and press play on the slide. Okay, Dogs of 2020 versus Barron's top 10 for 2021 with VTSAX thrown in there too. Not just thrown in, actually, it's a big part of this. So let's start with the beginning. So of course, last year was the pandemic. Very interesting year. I kept my eyes on everything going on with the market and whatnot. And, you know, I saw this article at the end of the year. And this was from last year. Barron's unveils top 10 stock picks for 2021. And so you see it was December 20th last year. And I got immediately interested, like, okay, so this is what this publication is guessing or thinking is going to be its top 10 stock picks. And you can see here it mentions Google and Alphabet and a few others. And I have the list and I'll show you in a moment. Coca-Cola is on there, Apple, a few others. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting, because do they have, you know, of course, whenever people make a projection about what they think is going to, you know, do well, you know, I have my Bogleheads education of skepticism, and I don't have a crystal ball and all that. But it also made me think about Warren Buffett and the bet he made a while ago about beating the index fund, hedge fund beating the index fund. So I thought about that, which here's a headline that if you heard about this, he made a $1 million bet that an index fund, S&P index fund, over 10 years would outperform anyone else, any hedge fund. So I just had that in the back of my mind, and I just thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to make a simulation myself. So this is just a simulation. The last thing is that I use, 1 second, I'm getting a, thank you, honey.
Hot chocolate delivery.
Got a hot chocolate delivery, perfect. So I use numbers on my Mac, which has a great function with, it'll update stock and index fund performance data. And I like to look at that, and I just thought, well, this could be a fun way to make use of this. What if I made use of the Barron's top 10, and which, by the way, here is the Barron's top 10 that I put on the numbers. And what if I see how it does in the future? Let's see how it goes. They say it's going to be the top 10 in 2021. So let's take a look. So I put it onto the number spreadsheet. And as you see, I substituted Disney for Berkshire Hathaway. I didn't think about it much. I'm not saying it was a good swap or not, but I only did that because Berkshire Hathaway wasn't showing up on my number spreadsheet and it wasn't updating. So I said, well, that's weird. I didn't think about it much. I just arbitrarily put Disney in there. This was my sort of list to beat, okay? Because the next comparison I made was with VTSAX. And I decided, okay, we're going to see how these two play out in 2021. Because, you know, it's kind of like the Buffett wager. And, you know, I'm obviously a big, strong believer in Vanguard funds and VTSAX in particular. So that's how that started. Okay, so now then a few days later, I saw this. Okay, so pause that. So December 21st, I bought $100,000 of Barron's top 10 for 2021, $10,000 for each stock, and $100,000 for VTSAX. Again, just to be clear, I just put it on a spreadsheet as if I was buying it. All right, so a couple days later, I saw this article. That says published January 2nd, but I actually saw it around the 29th of December. So I guess I changed that date. Anyway, these are the 20 worst performing S&P 500 stocks of 2020. So I immediately thought, well, that would be interesting. What if I took some of those? Those are the dogs of 2020. I just decided to call them that, and compared their performance in this new year with VTSAX and the Barron's top 10. Okay, so what I ended up with was, oh, this was the list that they had, and the worst performers of last year. And if you see, a lot of them are in the oil and gas industry. You can also see on the right their price change going down from negative 40% to negative 58%. Anyway, I just thought, okay, I hear about value investing and buying value, and let's just see if I took some of these. So what I did was I took 10 of those and I put them on my spreadsheet. And incidentally, the bottom one here, Devon Energy Corporation, I can't find on that previous list I just showed you because I looked it up 2 days ago and wait, where is that? I don't know. But it was on the list, I believe, last year, and I put it on my list, and that'll make a difference when you see the results too. So anyway, but there it is, and you can see that we got Norwegian Cruise Lines, Carnival Corporation, United Airlines, and then these oil companies, the things that you would expect wouldn't have done well last year, and indeed they didn't. So I was very curious about what would happen. At the end of the year, I bought $100,000 of these, the worst of 2020, $10,000 for each stock, and I put it on a spreadsheet. And then I had my and so the game began. And so I just basically I had these on a spreadsheet, and throughout the year, I just would open it up and see how they were doing because they were updating regularly. This many shares at this price, what's the new price? What is the gain on that or not? And I would tell my wife, hey, I told you about this simulation and this is where it's at. And I think at first she thought I was talking about real money and was kind of wondering why I cared. But anyway, I was having fun, and that's what mattered to me. So the game began. I tracked all year long, just watched it. And then a few weeks ago, I said to Greg, well, why don't I come and I could share the results of this? It might make a good discussion and might contribute for the meeting. So that's how that happened. And I tracked it all year long just for fun. As of yesterday, I'll be showing you the results right now. Remember, just a reminder, we got the three options, the three performers neck and neck, if you will, the Barron's top 10, the dogs of 2020, and VTSAX. So first of all, coming in third place, and by the way, I'm going to show you the actual spreadsheet here, so if it's a little confusing, I'll try to guide you through it. In third place, we have Barron's top 10, okay, which you can see on the top left, gained 19,000. In other words, it gained 19%. Okay. Now you see below on the table, those are the 10 stocks. Okay. And you can see the different data, like the price paid and what the price ended up being, and then the total gain for the year. And you can see at the bottom there how it all adds up to 19,000. The cost basis was 100,000. We ended up with 119,000. And you can also see that they performed at different levels. You know, Disney went down 10%, but Alphabet went up 71%. So anyway, of course, it adds up to be 19%. You also see the table or the grid on the top right. The table is showing the relative performances. Google is out nearly 8,000 and Disney is to the left, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that was the third place performer. So Barron's top 10 already underperformed the other two groups. We already know that. So that's not surprising, I guess, when people try to play crystal ball. All right, next up, we got in second place, dun dun dun, is VTSAX. VTSAX came in as you probably know, I'm assuming many of you own VTSAX. It gained about 24%. Again, this is since 2020, 12 December 21st of last year. So that might be a little different than the year-to-date gain. But anyway, that is how it did. You see it gained 24,454, or a gain of 24.45%. For all of us who supporters of index funds, that is a win. That is enough for us. It's certainly enough for me. Again, this is the only thing on here that I actually own. The rest is just a simulation. And then you can see the data down below here. The cost basis was 100,000 with a few cents extra, and the gain was 24,454.39, etc. Okay, so now we all know what the and the winner is. Here is a winner. Wait. Okay, no, sorry, out of order. There you go. All right, so the winner of this, and I find this very interesting, it's actually pretty much all year long, the dogs of 2020 were in the lead by a pretty sizable margin. And as you can see, they, as of yesterday, or it might be a day old data, maybe Thursday, they were ahead 51,000. You know, it's quite a sizable lead, even over VTSAX. The thing I want to point out here is look on the bottom item. It's kind of interesting irony. Devon Energy Corporation, which wasn't on the final list when I look back on the dogs of 2020, the article actually gained 193%. That was the biggest winner of the year, but it's also a energy company. So take of that what you will, but all in all, what we end up with is, sorry about that. Whoops, that's why I doubled that. Okay, here is the final comparison as of yesterday. We got Barron's top 10, and then VTSAX slightly ahead of it. Actually, the two were slightly neck and neck pretty much for a long time. I forgot exactly, but and like I said, the worst of 2020 was ahead for a long time. Again, I'm not making any points about investing here, but I found it very interesting to see, and it was sort of proof that a distressed area of the market can perhaps be more likely to outperform in later on after that period of time. It certainly was true here. And that is my presentation. Thank you. And Greg, I'll give it back to you.
Hey, thanks, Chris. That kind of didn't amaze me, but I certainly thought it was very interesting. The fact that, you know, we've thought about this and talked about this in the past, but the fact that one year is so different from the next year. I mean, obviously, very few of us are going to think about Barron's magazine and make our stock picks using that. But to think that they didn't even beat the dogs of 2020, that is kind of remarkable. And of course, we kind of expect the index to go up and down and over long periods of time to be successful.